Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Garage. So today I'm going to be talking about what's happened to my Defender 90, why it's decided to die recently, and what am I going to do about fixing it. Channel very well. I've had this Defender 90 for probably about 2 years now. It's a 90, it's a 2006 plate car. It was made 2006, it's registered 2007, so it's the last of the TD5 engines. And I've done a few bits to it over the time I've owned it. It's all on the channel, documented what I've done, but I did a stage 2 remap about 8 months ago with a live tuning, made a massive difference, and things have been absolutely fine with the car until probably about a week ago, when I went in to turn the car on. Hadn't used it for about a week because there was no diesel anywhere to get in the UK. It's all gone a bit wild. I turned the car on, ignition came on, turned over, and nothing happened. The car didn't start. So I've been at work all week, haven't had time to look at it properly, but I posted about this on my last video that I put up saying, what do you guys think, what could be the solution? And loads of you answered in the comments, which was really helpful, telling me what you thought maybe the problem was, just on that very short video clip I've done. So in this video, I'll go through some of the top tips that you guys have given me to check them on this car. Let's see what's going on and decide what's going to happen with this car and how am I going to get it fixed and get it back on the road. So let's take a look in the car on the dashboard when I start things up. So key in the ignition, put it to the first turn, so that is number 2. So lights come on, nothing happens on the dash at this point, and I can't hear anything. There's no whine, there's no buzz from the fuel pump. I'm not sure if there would be at this stage. But then if I turn the key again, so lights come on, as you can see, and the fuel gauge doesn't move at all, and I do have half a tank of diesel in at the moment, so that does make me think, from what you guys have said, that it could be the fuel pump, because I think that has a float in it too. So that doesn't work. Everything else does come on though, the lights and stuff, radio's on, so battery is fine. And then if I turn the engine over, nothing happens. Now, some of you suggested doing a purge and pressing the foil pedal 5 to 10 times, and you should get an engine warning light that comes on. So I'll show you what that does, because I don't see much happening when I do attempt to do that. So once again, ignition on, and then if I pump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's say, have a look on there, absolutely nothing to see, nothing happens. And then again, no joy of that either. Some of you commented that it could be an electrical fault. There's maybe not electricity getting to the fuel pump, which is definitely possible. Now, I've had a look at the fuses in the main compartment, just the fuse box near the gear stick, and then there's the under the seat fuse box as well, which is where the relays live near the ECU. So let's take a look in there now. So your seat comes up, and this is under the seat. So you've got the ECU here, and you've got another fuse box under here. Now, in this fuse box, I've actually been through and checked every single one of these fuses, and they're all absolutely fine. So all look like this. So not broken at all. So they all look good. Now, the relays, because my car was a vanback originally, it's got no fancy features on it, it's not got air conditioning or anything like that. The relays sit here, and there's a few more in some of like the XS models. Now, this is I've taken the old relay out, and I got this one, which is kind of a pre-owned one I found on eBay, actually, because they're quite expensive to buy, but on eBay you can get ones that have been taken out of cars and tested, and this is one of those from a really reputable place. So I've got this relay, and I've tried replacing that as well, so that just goes in that slot just there. Put the new relay in, and hopefully that should mean you get power to things. And once again, if I try at this point, oh, the fuel gauge has come on there. If you guys can see that, fuel gauge is on now. But then nothing. So that's strange. So when that relay was put back in, something did change. So that's a bit confusing, because I'm not sure what that means now. So now I've changed that relay. It doesn't fire up, but I do get the fuel gauge moving on the dash. So unsure what that means. Really appreciate any tips around that as to what to do. I'm probably going to end up taking this to a garage, but if you've got any ideas about how I'm able to fix it myself a bit quicker and a bit more simply, because I've obviously got to get this car recovered, I'd really appreciate that. So that has solved a small problem in the sense of now we get the fuel gauge working. The next thing someone suggested very kindly in the comments on the last video was, is there oil that's clogging up the ECU plugs under the seat? So I've had a look there too. And as you can see, it all was pretty clean under here. I've cleaned it when I first got this car, and there's not much to see. There's certainly no oil around the ECU itself. It actually looks in really quite good condition, so that isn't the problem. The final thing that some of you suggested was the inertia cutoff switch, which I didn't know what that was originally. Some people said it was in the dash, in the car, in the footwells. I couldn't find it there, and actually I did find it, but it was in the bonnet. So in a TD5, it's actually against the bulkhead. So looking under the bonnet, the inertia cutoff switches look like that. So you can see they have like a little rubber membrane on top, and the idea is when you crash or anything, it cuts off the fuel. So I pushed that down, which I believe means that it's reset. Nothing much more I can do with that. I've unplugged this, plugged it back in to see if that is a problem, but doesn't seem to do anything when I do that. So I don't think it's that either that's causing this problem. So I'm a bit lost really as to what to look at next. If it is indeed the fuel pump in a TD5, when I've looked, is above the fuel tank that's here. And another thing someone said to me was, why don't you hit the fuel pump with a hammer? So hit the bottom of the tank, which I've done with quite a firm mallet a few times to try and shake it, because I believe that can make a difference. Unfortunately for me, it didn't do anything. So laying under the car now, you can see this is what would need to come off. And as you can see, it's not in the best condition, and probably taking this off is going to result in needing a new holder for the tank. I can't get up to the tank. It's very difficult to get round, which is where the fuel pump is, right under the rear sort of load bay of the car. So this is obviously the pipe going into the tank, and it sits right in here. So taking this off looks like a bit of a nightmare, because it's going to be a lot of blowtorches and angle grinders, probably not ideal around a fuel tank. And I think I'll probably have to buy a new one of these carriers if I do that, but unfortunately the pump is right on top of the tank, which is where the issues are. The other option, I guess, would be to have a look at the wiring here and try and find the cabling that goes to the fuel pump, because I guess if I did that, I would be able to find if there was electricity going to it at all, which would be the first thing to probably diagnose and sort out. So that's where I am so far with my car, and as much as I would like to take it to a garage and get it sorted, I've got to tow it there, or I've got to have it recovered and taken there, and I would much rather fit it myself. As you know, on this channel I've done stuff myself, like the radiators, I put the new performance intercooler in it, and I've really enjoyed doing those jobs, but I'm not sure if this one just looks a little bit too far gone for me to be able to fix. Firstly, I'm not sure how to diagnose it. I've understood from speaking to a Land Rover specialist near me that plugging it in to a diagnostic machine will not give you an error code for the fuel pump in particular, so it's a really hard thing to actually work out. And so it's more a case of working through it diagnostically, saying, is electricity going to the pump? Is there fuel coming out of the pump? Is the pump turning on when the ignition turns on? Which I can't hear that it is. I can't hear any buzzing or whining when the first part of the ignition comes on the car. So I feel the fuel pump's probably gone, based on the fact that all electricity seems good. I can't hear it on. But saying that, when I changed that relay, there was something that changed there. The fuel gauge actually went up and went to normal, which is a bit weird. I don't really know what that means. So I'm a bit lost really as to what to do. And the other option, of course, is to get directly to the fuel pump and have a look at it. I could take the back off and take the rear cage off and do it like that through the underneath. Or the other option is, which I've seen some people do, is to cut a hole in the back of your load bay. So I would actually angle grind a square out of the back and then go straight down on top of the pump and almost create a hatch, like some of the newer Defenders and I think Discoveries had in their load bay. So that would mean taking up some of this, well, not just rubber matting, but also insulation and silent coats under here, and literally cutting a square hole into the bottom of this car through the sheet aluminium. Now that might not be a bad idea, because in a way, at least I would have an access hatch to be able to get down onto the pump. If not now, for the future maybe, because I do believe fuel pumps are one of the common things to go in these cars. But does anyone think that's a good idea? Have you done it yourself? Has it been a good idea? Did it go well? Do you have any tips for cutting straight down there through into where the fuel pump is? Let me know in the comments below. So I guess next steps is to work out what's wrong with it, to try and take it to a garage, I guess, get it recovered and take it there. Unless you guys have got any immediate tips that are definitely going to fix this problem, that's probably going to be our next steps really. And I think the non-start issue in a TD5 Defender is quite common when I've Googled it. It can be due to a lot of things, but the fuel pump seems to be the main one. So it looks like I'm probably going to have to do that. I could attempt it myself. It probably would make good watching, me trying to take this out or cut a hole in the back of my load bay. But I think regardless, I need to get it sorted, because this car's been sat now for a week and a half, and it feels like the battery actually, every time I turn it over, is slowly dying. It's not feeling so healthy. So I need to get things going and get it back on the road really. I've got a lot of plans with this car for future videos in the next few months. As always, your suggestions are very welcome. One of the best things about this YouTube channel is having a place where like-minded people can comment and suggest on what to do next, really, because I'm no mechanic, and it's quite nice to hear what you guys think who know a lot more about this than I do. So any helpful tips or tricks about what I'm dealing with would be really appreciated. If you have got the fuel pump out yourself, please let me know how it went. If you've got any videos, send me the videos of you doing it if you've got that here on YouTube. Or what about cutting a hole in the load bay? That seems like a much easier option for me in some ways, because taking it off is just feels like it's gonna be a mess. I haven't got a ramp, the tank's half full of diesel, so really would just cutting down straight onto it be easier? I'm not really sure. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And just to touch on the last video I did, I talked about Ineos Grenadier. So I know a lot of you love Defenders and love Land Rovers, and I do too. And I haven't got any plans to sell this right now, but it was just a video about the Grenadier, about what it's all about really as a concept, because as you can see in the comments on the previous video, there's a lot of opinions about the car in general, what it's capable of, whether it is really a good buy or not. It's definitely an interesting concept in the world of 4x4s. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I look forward to hearing from you about what I'm going to do next about this Defender.